ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and
DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time for the Midday Market Report. Good friend and colleague, live from New York City, Mr. Matthew George. Please go follow him at MG28 Sports on the Twitter. And of course, you can catch him on Sports Grid and 2 podcasts a week with Coach James Young. Busy day here at ECSI Network. 9 a.m. Scotty Webb here, talking some MLB bright lights as the MLB is back. First game of the day, my Red Hot Red Sox, winners of 10 in a row at Wrigley Field at 2:20. Then I was just a guest with Andrew McGinnis at Wager Talk as we talk CFL, MLB, and some good stuff there. Now the Midday Market Report, 11:30-ish, give or take. Sean Alvarez from Wager Talk. Sean, you can go follow him at Smooth Turn 2, talking Saratoga and DELMAR opening weekend. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Mr. Matthew George. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Good day in the hardwood last night. Summer League. Got a little curveball from my producer there. As we now know, the WNBA has its skills competition tonight, and then their game tomorrow. We also do know, of course, Caitlin Clark will be out, but we'll get to that. How are you doing this morning?
We're all good. I mean, we're having a good time in terms of the prop betting, and it's a lot happening now that especially baseball is back right in the docket, as you mentioned.
Baseball is back, and we're hoping, it's kind of funny. We're on the back 9 of baseball, and we got less than 2 weeks till August 1st, which means NFL, Hall of Fame game, college football before you know it. Where did the time go, Matthew?
I mean, we're in the midway through. I mean, it's midway through the year, and it's midway through in terms of the baseball season. So it's like we're really in the heat of it now, and hopefully it'll be an entertaining one.
Headliner, Damian Lillard signs a 3-year, $42 million to come back home with the Blazers to end his career. You know what I have a hard time swallowing is the fact that he's getting paid $120 million from Milwaukee, and then if my math is correct, 14, 20, he squeezes another $14 million per year from Portland. He won't even be playing next year, so he'll be making, I don't know, 25, 40, $50 million to do rehab, excuse me. But I think and again, no disrespect, he was a trailblazer most of his career. I think this is the easy way out, Matthew.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting decision. I don't know if it was Damian Lillard by himself. I would think so. Damian Lillard himself making that decision to go back to Portland. So I think this is probably just the end of the road kind of affair. I wouldn't say farewell tour, maybe, who knows, for Damian Lillard, but he's had his struggles throughout his career. He tried to win a championship in Milwaukee, that couldn't work out with Giannis and company. So it was his it was his good chance to actually make a title run, especially in the Eastern Conference that was not too loaded. But then again, we see one of these we see some of these teams step up and actually make the finals, like Indiana and Boston in these past couple of years. So we'll see what happens nowadays with him recovering from his ACL injury, now with him actually being, he's still good, one of the better players in the league. He can just score the ball at will. But now it's just a matter of, I mean, is this basically just the end of the road for him? Probably is. He's probably just going to help out all the young players that are on this team developing on the Blazers, and then just finish off his career where he started.
If Matthew, I don't call myself an NBA expert like Coach James Young. He'll tell you where they played AAU ball, middle school ball, and I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm a market reader. I mean, I can tell you everything about the '86 Celtics, but my point is, how would you overall at the blanket Damian Lillard's career? I know it's Dame time. I've seen the buzzer beat, the cool guy to win the. I got all that, but at the end of the day, I'm a resume guy. Championships. What did you do for your team, your community? Not that he hasn't helped Portland in that way, but his basketball career. How would you rate it today?
I would say it's a very good. And say if you want me to give you a scale out of 8 out of 10, I'd probably say like maybe a 7.5 to maybe slightly an 8. But the problem is that like the championship obviously is going to be the biggest thing of him not having one. He's basically having like a somewhat of a I wouldn't say Steve Nash, but like almost that kind of a career. Obviously, Steve Nash has won two-time MVP. Damian Lillard has not won that. The only thing he's basically done in his career is being listed as one of the 75 greatest players of all time, and then one Rookie of the Year. So it's, I think he's done. I think he's done enough to where he has a solidified great career. It's just a matter of what else has he done aside from just being an All-Star and just being in the kind of docket of. I don't know, understand why that he's in that kind of list, but it kind of also makes sense because he's been clutch. He's been very good. He's been very good in his career throughout his entire career because he's basically averaging more than 20 points per game in multiple seasons. So it's not that like he's not bad in any means, but it's not like he's a Hall of Fame kind. I don't think, in my opinion, he's not a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame type of player.
Bronny James, 18 points, lose to the Celtics. Good from a Lakers standpoint. He was the butt of a lot of jokes last year. Doesn't belong, only here because of. So I give him props. Here's a guy that had heart issues at USC. Here he is now on the big stage. I'm pulling for him. I'm proud of him. Thoughts of him moving forward in the Lakers?
I hope he gets my expectation, and this is only me, but the expectation for him is to hopefully be in the rotation for the Lakers. And it's a matter of also what LeBron does throughout this offseason, because obviously, as we mentioned before, that he's opted out of his $52 million contract this season. So it's a matter of if he's going to stay with the Lakers or if he's just going to move with his father, and depending on where he goes. Now, on Bronny himself, he got that 18 points on the second half. He didn't score. I don't think, in my opinion, he scored throughout the entire first half. And the Lakers on their end only scored 9 points in the second quarter. So for him to go on the leap and score 7 out of 13 from the field, 9. Not to mention, also dish out 5 assists. The only thing that he needs to work on, at least from what I've seen, is his like protecting the ball. Not to mention, the last game he had 8 turnovers, so that's not good. That also led to the loss for the Lakers in that kind of run. So Bronny is making his move, making his strides. His jumper was looking a lot better than before. Now it's just a matter of getting efficient and making sure that you're proving yourself that you can actually be a rotational player for this stacked Lakers. I wouldn't say stacked, but like a very good Lakers team, especially trying to back up Luka Doncic. So it's gonna be a very interesting time in terms of the way that the Lakers can handle the way this roster of a team that can compete for a title. Is just a matter of how they can mesh it up together.
I'm going to back up. You saying LeBron opts out of his 52 and a half, $53 million. Listen, the guy is beat father time for the most part. At his age, what he's done. Is he more trying to leverage a 2, 3 year? What's he trying to do here, Matthew?
He wants to compete for a title, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, we've heard all the rumors, we've heard like a lot of the statements that have been made by reporters saying that LeBron wants to win a title before he retires, and it's a very realistic thing for LeBron because obviously, as you mentioned, he's beaten father time. And the guy's 40 years old and still has a bulk of a 22-year-old still having mass and muscle. So it's not like he can't do it. It's just a matter of the franchise being able to, make moves and actually, try to solidify a roster that can compete for an NBA title. It's also the fact that the Western Conference is so stacked. So that's what I mentioned yesterday. Of I wouldn't be surprised if like LeBron James goes back into the Eastern Conference again. It doesn't have to be the Knicks, or it doesn't have to be back into the Cavaliers. It's just a matter of who can be the best team, even if if it's coming back into the Lakers, which I believe. I remember making the graphics for last week for for betting above the rim pro basketball today over the weekend last week, saying that LeBron James was a heavy favorite at -700 to just return back to the Lakers and run it back again for him to compete for a title with the Lakers. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes anywhere else. But his number one objective is competing for another title.
Well, it's kind of embarrassing for the fact that, he's just blown up franchises wherever he's gone, leaves Cleveland, Miami, now the Lakers. And the funny thing is, you got Luka Doncic, who's considered a top 5 NBA player, and you're still crying about winning a championship. Suck it up, Buttercup. I mean, you're 40. And the funny thing is, the return on LeBron James. LeBron James 25, 30, the return's huge. A 40-year-old LeBron James, the Lakers could say, hey, we're getting 50 million off the cap here. Thank you very much. Now we'll just take a couple parting gifts. Luca, who do you want? Where do we want to send LeBron? And then move on here, Matthew.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's a good point, Jeff, because you could do it both ways. With either, do you want to stick with LeBron James and just continue going forward and building a roster around him, or just build a roster around the younger and better talent. I would say better talented, but in a well-rounded talent in Luka Doncic. So it's a matter of, I mean, how do you want to move forward, especially as an organization that has won championship, that has the championship pedigree throughout its history, especially winning a bunch of titles as well. So not to mention that they're the leader in championships. So it's a matter of how can the Lakers manage this. The only relatively big move that they made is signing DeAndre into a 2-year deal to be the starting center, which they've been wanting for like the longest while. They haven't had a center in a long time that actually has been a good young and talented kind of center. I wouldn't say the only last person that I've seen being a center for the team is Dwight Howard, but that's towards the tail end of his career. So now that this is you have Luca, you have DeAndre Ayton. Now it's a matter of, can you really develop this team to either be contending title team, or just develop, or just say, hey, we're ready to go back into the docket of developing young players and then compete for a title eventually. Just like how these younger teams like OKC actually winning a title this season, and the upcoming teams like the Hawks, like the Magic, like some of these younger teams that can actually start to develop a lot more and be a lot better, especially when when their prime of their career is about to start very soon.
WNBA, we talked or hinted about it. Caitlin Clark to officially not play in the All-Star game or three-point contest. Big blow, obviously, to viewership. Skills competition tonight. And WNBA All-Star game on Saturday. Thoughts about today or tomorrow? Or, obviously, the big story, no Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and it's a sad thing to see that she has to be dealing with this groin injury right before the All Star game and right before the All Star break. So this is going to take a major hit in terms of the viewership because people want to see Caitlin Clark. That's one of the main reasons why people want to watch the All Star game and the 3-point competition. She was supposed to compete. I think it was probably going to be a 1-2 race against Sabrina Ionescu. So it's still going to be a good competition tonight. Sonia Citron, the All Star rookie for the Washington Mystics, Alicia Gray and Sabrina Ionescu. I would think, in my opinion, I think Sabrina Ionescu would take it because she's been in this competition before. Not to mention also being in the celebrity competition with Steph Curry, so she knows how to be in this kind of situation. The skills competition, I think Natasha Cloud has a good chance at it, but I think my take would be Skylar Diggins. I've been a Skylar Diggins, front runner. Not to mention I've also been in the prop markets for her as well in the assist market. So she's been passing the ball. She's been doing a great ordeal for the Seattle Storm. So I wouldn't be surprised in her making that kind of a push to win that skills competition. And then obviously for the, as I mentioned yesterday with Jeff yesterday's show, we're going with Nafisha Calier's team to win the All-Star game as well.
NBA Summer League tonight. You got your eyes on anything in the prop market?
Yeah, so we got three games that I'm looking at. We got the 76ers and the Nets, Pacers and the Pelicans, and the Lakers and the Nuggets tonight. So for first one, we're taking the 76ers money line against the Nets at -128 because, and again, this is all if they decide to put these players on the roster for tonight. So if he plays, Janiah Broom for the 76ers got a double-double in the last game. I think he's proving a lot more that he can be a rotational piece for the 76ers. It's just a matter of how much playing time he can get tonight to showcase that. If he can do that, maintain that double-double kind of sense, especially since he's also inserted into the starting lineup for the 76ers Summer League team, I think he can be able to be a good rotational piece for the main roster this upcoming season. We're taking the Pelicans money line against the Pacers at -138. Jeremiah Fears seems to be. I think they're still having a lot more. Seems to be like they're working on his efficiency and his 3-point shooting, so they're putting him on the roster on the starting lineup tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again tonight. And if you see right there on the right hand side, if Derek Queen also plays again tonight, I think he also records a double because I think that he can be a good double machine, whether it's off the bench or actually in the starting lineup for the Pelicans this upcoming season. Lastly, obviously, as we know, on that left-hand side, you see LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James to score 15-plus points. We're taking the Lakers money line at -142, but him and Dalton need to step up and so they can be solidified into the roster for this upcoming season for the Lakers, because I think those two can be the two young pieces that the Lakers need, especially since Dalton can shoot the ball lights up from three. Barney can definitely be a great defender from the perimeter against the better guard defenders in the league. I think the way that Barney can solidify himself so far in this league is be like a Scottie Pippen Jr. This is it's a weird and I would say controversial kind of comparison, but for the way that he's trying to develop himself, I think in comparison for LeBron James Jr., I think that he and Scottie Pippen could be very related to each other. And I think, and the way that Scottie Pippen Jr. has been developing himself off the bench, especially backing up John Morant, has been very, very good. He's very good defensively, and because he obviously gets that from his father, and he's a very good efficient scorer, especially backing up with guys like an all-star like John Morant. So it's a matter of now Bronny James doing the same thing to back up Luka Doncic, and I think that's the way that he could solidify himself into the roster for this upcoming season.
Great stuff. I'll definitely be on those three myself. As we talked about earlier, MLB is back. You get your eyes on some MLB tonight.
Yeah, and there's one specific game I wanted to go with the Yankees pedigree, but the problem there wasn't many lines because they were still trying to figure out a starting pitcher for today. So at least from what I was looking at the market last side, so we're taking the San Diego Padres and the Washington Nationals. So tonight today they're facing the Washington Nationals. We're taking three players as well with Manny Machado, Jake Cronworth, and Jackson Merrill. So we're to record a hit with Manny Machado at -280. Same thing goes with Jake Cronworth at -190. Those are heavily juiced, so you definitely put them in a parlay with Jackson Merrill to score a run as well, because Manny Machado before the All-Star break has gotten 3 out of the last 4 games with a hit. Same thing with Cronworth as well, and then Jackson Merrill has scored at least 1 run in the last 2 out of the last 3 games. So I wouldn't be surprised if them actually making a run, because I think, in my opinion, the San Diego is obviously one of the better teams in baseball, but obviously the biggest hurdle that they have to face is the Dodgers. However, the Dodgers are before the All-Star break have been really struggling, especially offensively. So they can now now the Padres can be really contention in the division in the NL West. So I think this is the best way for San Diego to get started back in the second half of the season, go on a winning streak, because this is how they need to solidify themselves, especially if they want to compete for a National League pennant and eventually compete for a World Series. It's going to be very tough, because obviously the National League is super stacked with the way that some of these teams are in the National League.
Well, as always, you got more work. You got other places to go, producing here, big stage, New York City, the Mecca as we know it. Everyone knows here on Twitter, of course, to follow you at MG28 Sports. But as I like to do, throw you the mic, throw you the platform, talk about your podcast, Sports Grid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach James Young and I do a podcast that gets released every Tuesday and Thursday. We record Monday and Wednesday. For those kinds of things, we update everything in terms of college basketball, WNBA, and NBA, as we're coming up midway through the All-Star break of the WNBA and the NBA Summer League as well. And then 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Wednesday, that I produce in-game live game day with Scott Wetzel. He does that show throughout the entire week, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, but I produce it on Tuesday and Wednesday. And as Jeff mentions, go follow me on MG28 Sports. I will post any of the props and bets that that if you missed it, I'll post it within a couple of hours after today's show. And again, thank you for Jeff for having me on. And it's a great time this week, especially since the WNBA and as we mentioned, the MLB is back in business.
Yes, we're all back. We're super psyched, super stoked. NBA Summer League, WNBA All-Star break. Of course, MLB is back. I'll see you Tuesday or Wednesday night on In-Game Live with you on the Sports Grid. Have a great weekend, Matthew, and best of luck at high noon. How's that?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. Go follow Matthew at MG28 Sports. You might want to grab your notepad, your pen, and this is no horsing around. We got Mr. Alvarez. I had to crack that whip. I'm like, Sean, it's been too quiet back here. It's time. I said, let's have a toga party tonight, this morning. And then he goes, how about DELMAR opening weekend too? Couple quick commercials, and we'll be right back with Mr. Sean Alvarez. Smooth turn 2. Stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern?
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
Well, it's been a few weeks, not much, and it's time, like I said, it's time to shine. Saratoga back up and running, and as Sean said, opening weekend in Delmar. So it's time to get some winners on board. So let's bring him in, Mr. Smooth Turn to himself, Mr. Sean Alvarez. Morning, sir.
How you doing? I mean, you know, I always say it, it's a broken record, but, you know, we get to talk, which means very, or at least for me and for other horse players around the country, it's a very exciting time. We got the spot, Saratoga, and where the surf meets the turf at Delmar. So if you don't like either one of those tracks, you probably aren't a horse racing fan.
No, not at all. And I was just talking to my good buddy who's actually, I think, heading up to Saratoga for Saturday's race card, and then he'll be back in a few weeks. You know, let's go back in time here. You know, we've been doing shows with you now for a few years, and we always, you know, do a few races and some shows leading up to the first Saturday, of course, in May, and that is the Kentucky Derby. Had a little Kentucky Derby winner. I'm going to skip the Preakness, and skips the Preakness, so no Triple Crown winner. And then, of course, the Belmont. Now we're here today. Take us from after the Belmont, Sean, to where we are today in horse racing.
Yeah, I mean, so you kind of get a little bit of a, you know, a rest break, you know, both for the trainers, the owners, the horses, and horse players as well. You know, especially on a Southern California type circuit, Santa Anita starts to kind of close down. They're winding down the end of their, you know, fall or spring into summer meet. It goes to Los Al, which, you know, I'm glad that Los Al does it and they get races, but you know, we're looking at claiming horses that, you know, want to run every month, and we're kind of winding down those big 3-year-olds, or, you know, even the older horses. They're not necessarily racing in big giant grade 1 stakes races leading up into, you know, this month. And July is even kind of I'd say a slower month as far as the graded stakes races, but, you know, then August hits and we're just hitting the ground running with, you know, the Travers at Saratoga, the Pacific Classic at Delmar, and that's when these trainers are really, you know, tightening the screws on their horses as we lead up to that November and Breeders' Cup date. So you kind of get a little bit of a rest, and then horses really start to ramp up as we start talking, you know, right now as far as mid-July into mid-August, and then kind of get up a little bit of a rest as well leading up to the Breeders' Cup. But especially for older horses, they're not necessarily running for the Triple Crown because they obviously can't. They're not 3-year-olds anymore. Their big year is these summer meets between Delmar and Saratoga, and like I mentioned, the Breeders' Cup. Not only the Classic, but I believe it's 12 or 13 Breeders' Cup Grade 1 races. So it's a big weekend, and it's time to gear up for it.
Big horses, big names. We fell in love with was it Forever Young? No, yeah, last year, Japan horse. This year have some, you know, some likes. No dislikes. I'm not like that. But Torpeda Anna, any update, any reports, and how's she doing?
I haven't necessarily heard anything about her, but, you know, we're also talking about an older mare that can't really run in those, you know, those 3-year-old races, especially during that Triple Crown run when it's really gearing towards 3-year-olds, and even more so gears towards male colts and horses. So she's, you know, like I alluded to earlier, she's getting her, you know, metaphorically screws tightened, gearing up for that Breeders' Cup distaff, because that Breeders' Cup distaff is going to be I'm guessing her going out party. Let's try and win it. Let's try and win it impressively, and then we'll go to the breeding shed.
All right. First on the docket, Saratoga Race 10, Grade 1 Coaching Club, American Oaks.
Yeah, so we're gonna go 1 mile and an eighth on the dirt track up at the spa up at Saratoga, and I always try to give a little bit of value to the listeners here, but I can't really get away from the favorite, the number 1 Immersive at 8-5. Brad Cox kind of gave this filly a little bit of a break after she won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, a Grade 1 race, similar to what we were speaking about. Gave her a little bit of a time off, and then she came back June 14th in the Monomoy Girls Stakes at Churchill, lost by a neck, and that's her only career start where she hasn't won. She's 4 for 5 in her career. I think that listed stakes race at Churchill Downs was more of a lifting off of a jumping off point, trying to get her her best legs underneath her, and then the fact that she's going right in to a Grade 1 at Saratoga. I just think that Brad believes that she's running as well as she can be. Let's not skip it. Let's go for it. So that's going to be my top pick. But my second choice is actually going to be the horse directly to her outside, the number 2 Sweet Seraphine at 8-1. This is the horse that can kind of give us a little bit more of a price. Can she beat the number 1 Immersive? Maybe. These are still lightly raced horses. And if you look at the way that she's ran the 3 races in her career, she's had a 69 by her, a 74, and then an 82. So she's improved in each one of her starts. She's lightly raced. She gets Jose Ortiz on. She's going to be a little bit more of a mid-pack type horse. Doesn't necessarily need pace to run into. She's going to come running, so she can definitely upset at 8-1, but she can also spice things up underneath. And then the horse that I'm going to try and beat, at least up top, is going to be the second choice, the number 6, Lakara, at 2-1. Dylan Davis is riding. She gets an outside post, which shouldn't bother her too much in just a 6-horse field, but she's going to have to clear the number 5, Dry Powder, to her inside. There is other speed in this race, and like I mentioned, these are lightly raced horses. We haven't necessarily seen the style of running that they can or will run as they grow, into their, the muscle in their body type figures. So I'm going to try and play against the number 6, Lakara, and my exact is going to be 1-2 on top with the 1-2-5-6. I'm not going to try and get cute, try and spend a lot of money beating this favorite up top. So I'm going to try and get either the favorite or that bomb, the number 2 underneath, or two win on top. Going to keep it really on the cheaper side. So it's 1-2 on top over 1-2-5-6. For $1, it only costs $6 to post.
All right. And again, I was so Saratoga mindset here, of course, being back east and a couple hours from Saratoga. I wish I was a little closer, but I'm not. And you said, Mr. Dawson, don't forget about DELMAR opening weekend. Give us the buzz about DELMAR opening weekend.
I mean, DELMAR holds a special place in my heart. Born and raised in San Diego, I wasn't necessarily into the horses growing up, but started working at a golf course about a mile east of DELMAR Racetrack. So I could have walked if I wanted to. It was that close, and a lot of horse players there. Started teaching Bob and Jill Baffert's son in golf. Got me hooked into horse racing, and I was there. If I could be there, I was there, and if I couldn't be there, and I was at the golf course, the members always knew when they walked in. They wouldn't even look to the desk. They would look to the TV. If horse racing's on, I would hear them say, Sean must be working. So DELMAR holds a special place in my heart. It's a gorgeous track. It is a stone's throw away from the beach, gorgeous weather, and fun racing. So it's definitely a great place. If you haven't been out there, if you're more on the West Coast, definitely make a trip to do a little weekend at DELMAR. You will not be disappointed.
Well, you got DELMAR Race 9 Grade 2 San Clemente handicap to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to go a mile on the Seaside Turf Course at DELMAR in this Grade 2, and I'm going to start off just with this number 1 horse, Will Then, with odds of 4-1. I don't know, Jeff, there's a jockey. I don't know if you're familiar with him. His name's Mike Smith.
Yeah, just a little.
Money Mike Smith doesn't get the nickname Money for a reason. This is a grade 2 race. He's getting a little bit older in his age, but still wins races at a big clip. I like that Jonathan Thomas is shipping this horse over from Churchill Downs. She got a really rough trip last time out at Churchill in the grade 2 Edgewood, where she was 3 wide and then floated into the 6th path, turning from home. And she just didn't really have anything left in the tank there. I like that she's going to be more on that kind of stalking type trip in this race. And we get, the jockey that we had mentioned, Mike Smith, in this race, where, his mental clock on how fast they're going when he should put the button is, there's only a few jockeys in this country that has that kind of mental clock, one being Flavian Pratt or even Irad Ortiz. So being mentioned along those names, he's winning races for a reason. And then I'm going to go to the favorite on the outside, or not on the outside, the number 5 Thought Process at 8-5. This horse is kind of more of the class of the speed in this race. She ran a disappointing 9th place finish in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf that we had mentioned on that filly that won the race that's running at Saratoga tomorrow. So she is going to be the front runner, but I think she's going to have other horses kind of giving her fits on the front end. So I'm going to play her defensively just in case those other horses get a little scared of her and don't want to, battle head and head with her, ding dong around on the front end and take both of them out of the race. So I'm going to play the number 5 Thought Process at 8-5 defensively. And then I really like the number 7 as my third choice, Jungle Peace at 8-1. Antonio Fresu takes the mount here, and Antonio's kind of fit into where, the shoes that Flavian Pratt left on the Southern California circuit when he's, making these big Saratoga, Churchill type meets. Antonio Fresu's kind of picked up where he left off, being one of the better jockeys at Santa Anita and at Del Mar, not only on the dirt, but he really excels on the turf. And this is another horse that can be on the front end, can lead the race on the front end, but she's also been able to stalk the pace. And I think Antonio can get a really good trip, kind of sitting off the flank of the favorite, number 5 Thought Process, get kind of that first run, and could surprise at odds of 8-1. So those are going to be my top 3 selections. The number 1 Will Then, the number 5 Thought Process, and the number 7 Jungle Peace, which brings me to a little bit more. I'm going to spend a little bit more on an exacta. I'm going to use those 3 choices on top, and then I'm going to spread out a little bit more underneath. So I'm going to go 1, 5, 7 on top over 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 for $12.
Well, we can't wait. Again, Saratoga opening weekend at Del Mar. What's next weekend look like other than another following week? As you said earlier on the show, you got to get through the last couple of weeks of July before the big races then begin to kick in again in August.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case, because I'm thinking, really the more of those big races are, those big turf races, and then the Travers at Saratoga, Pacific Classic. These are, win and you're in Breeders' Cup Classic races. Those are the huge races, if you will. But every single weekend at Saratoga, every single weekend at Del Mar, there will be stakes races. And this includes Friday, includes Saturday, includes Sunday. So there's a reason why they're the 2 best tracks in the country. There's just always good racing. Even on Wednesday at Saratoga, there's good racing going on.
Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook then. We're going to meet back same time, same bat station next Friday. We're going to ride this through to the Breeders' Cup. We'll have a couple off Fridays for travel and stuff, but we're going to keep the whip cracked, Mr. Alvarez. Everyone knows our next to follow you at Smooth Turn 2. You'll work at Wager Talk. Tell them what you have behind the closed doors for everyone this weekend and, for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, so right now I'm really focused on golf. I've got a string going on with the Open Championship on another tab with you, Jeff, as we speak. So golf, MLB, and then obviously horse racing are my 3 major sports that I cover over at Wager Talk right now. The big deal that I have going is for $99, you can get 30 calendar days of DELMAR and Saratoga. That equals out to, depending on the day that you buy it, less than $3 a card, where I sell the cards for $15. And even if you just do Saturdays, you're gonna get your money's worth. Or even Saturday, Sunday, you're gonna get your money's worth. So don't buy my daily cards, buy the full package. Make sure that you're getting it for a little bit cheaper. And who knows, maybe on a Wednesday, you may want to play Saratoga. So head over to wt.buzz/SA. That's where you're going to find my golf, my baseball, and my horse racing plays.
Say the one more time,
wt.buzz/SA.
SA. I got to make sure to add that for you for Friday. So go check out Sean, the best in the business. Sean, always a pleasure to have you. I tell you, I get so many emails. Where's Sean? Where's Sean? How do I find Sean? When you guys coming back? So again, we thank you and we look forward to seeing you for the next handful of Fridays leading up to the Breeders' Cup.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's always fun talking with you, and now we get to talk, my favorite thing, not only horse racing, but Saratoga and DELMAR. So looking forward to it.
Go follow Sean at Smooth Turn 2. Going to take a couple quick commercial breaks and we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts. Tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use, mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. From fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
What a morning, what a morning. Started at 9 a.m. Scotty Webb at Webby 20 MLB talking Friday night or Friday afternoon MLB Bright Lights. We're back. Baseball's back. 10 a.m. I was a guest with Andrew McGinnis at McGinnis Picks at Wager Talk. And, of course, back at 11 with Matthew George. And we wrap it up with Sean Alvarez. Monday, we'll be back with Scotty Webb. Monday afternoon, I'll be back with Andrew McGinnis. I want everyone to have a blessed weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Anyone interested in the ECSI VIP experience for just $3 a day, send me a direct message at EC Sports Invest or send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. And also, we'll be debuting and launching the rest of 2025 very soon. If you want an early entry on that will be $349. Regularly, that would be $500 if you did the $99 a month. If you did the retail package at $375 a month, you do the math times 5, that's around $1,900. So again, send me a direct message at EC Sports Invest on Twitter, X, or send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Guys, enjoy yourself. Have a great weekend. We're all blessed, trust me. See you soon.